wide web. So it's the Wednesday. It's not the weekend. It's not movie review time. I don't know which day it is today, but it is Wednesday. Yes. So this is another episode of Look What I've Been Watching. So we'll go over what I've been watching over the past week. So we've got 7 this week. So quite a few. I managed to do about 1 a day. I did have a long weekend just gone, so managed to get more in. So we will start off with reverse order going forwards. So the first one is Matthew McConaughey in Free State of Jones. So this is based off true events, and it is basic. I think it's a civil war. I'm not very good with American history, so I don't know. I think it's like the North and the South. And it is basically, he is a medic. His son, unfortunately, gets called up and killed. And he decides to desert to take his son home. And because he's a deserter, the army are kind of they're kind of rounding up people who are basically, I can't remember what the word is now, but basically they run away from the army, and obviously they're pillaging a lot of the people's stuff. They should only take 10%, but they're actually taking a lot of other stuff as well. So you kind of, this is him building up with a lot of other people, kind of this state of Jones, because that's where they live, and kind of become a class of their own. Obviously it does feature a lot of people of colour, and yeah, I did enjoy it. I say there's a little bit of linking to the future related to his ancestor and stuff. Obviously it's all because it's based on true stories, so they're trying to link it as best as possible, but it just, and I say it's good. But obviously with covering slavery and stuff like this, how, like, obviously it does feature the KKK and stuff, I'm just like, how it just shows how ignorant some people are in life and stuff like this. And obviously, because I felt that way after the movie, it obviously did a good job, because that's part of the reason why it's trying to display stuff. But yeah, I did enjoy this movie, so it was a good one to add to the collection. So the next one is Den of Thieves. So this is probably my most surprising movie of the past week. So I had heard about this movie, I'd seen the trailer, and I didn't think this was going to be much. It's got good old 50 Cent in there as well, but I do like Gerard Butler. And essentially this is, Gerard Butler runs like a crime division. He's trying to track a set of criminals, and they're setting up a bank job. They kind of infiltrate one of their members, and basically it's kind of this back and to and fro between them. But then there is twists. Obviously, part of the reason why I bought this and watched this recently is because there is a sequel to it coming out January next year. But it was really, really good. I enjoyed it, that the fact that there are no stereotypical, the cops aren't necessarily good cops, the bad guys aren't necessarily always bad guys. There's a lot of twists and turns and stuff with the story. And I actually thought it was a really great heist movie with a few good twists and turns. And there was one that I didn't even see coming, which I thought was really good. The second one will probably be garbage, but we shall see. I'll give it, I'll definitely watch it. Gerard Butler should return, which is a good thing. And stuff, I'm not going to say who else may return to that, but yeah, I would definitely recommend this. This is definitely one I really enjoyed, and potentially I would upgrade it within the future. So next one, so it's my first revisit of the Flash movie, obviously celebrating 100 years. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of this movie. I went to see it at the cinema. I did have problems with the CG and stuff. On my second watch, I actually enjoyed the movie more. I mean, the main thing over everything is the Batman. Bringing back Michael Keaton was a stroke of genius. Obviously, if anybody's read the comic and they get the idea, I did like Supergirl in it. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of them just having it all about the Kryptonian war. I feel it would have been better if they'd put it in a future environment, but that's me. Still, as I say, I enjoyed the movie more. I did like it. I didn't mind on a smaller screen. The CG isn't too much of a bother when he's travelling through time, and I still don't know why they went with that and didn't use actual people and actors rather than recreating them in digital. That seems a bit stupid for me. Obviously, if you've seen, I've watched a lot of The Flash and having the alternate versions and stuff. I mean, the main problem I have with this is more the portrayal and how they try to add in such a comedy thing. Like, since the beginning, the Flash has always being seen as a jokester. And I just don't see Barry Allen as that sort of person. He's a scientist. He's a very clever person. You know, he's a forensic pathology or whatever, forensic scientist. You know, he's very clever. He's not really a stupid person. And they always seem to be trying to edge us in there. And it's like the stupid things, you know, like he you know, the babies and the dog that fall out was stupid to me. There's, you know, even though he meets like a younger version of him when he travels to the future timeline or alternate timeline, it always is, he's kind of really silly, and it's like little things like, come on Barbie, you know, and stuff like that. I was just like, it's almost like you're trying to force humour on his character, and I just don't think it fits. I think somebody like Aquaman or that, and it's the same way of, like, let's say, like they throw this stuff in, like you've got the bat chase with Batfleck and that's, I think, is really good, but then at the end Wonder Woman magically saves them just so they have a scene where they're all speaking of their truth because she uses her lasso of justice, you know. And it's just, you know, they're thrown in. I mean, I didn't mind the second time round. The George Clooney cameo I thought was quite good, but then they kind of had the tooth falling out and I was like, really? And I say that is, as I say, I did enjoy the movie more this time round. I'm glad to have it in the collection. I won't be upgrading it. I won't pay the extra money for it because I think it is a very flawed movie. And, you know, it is good that we got to see Nicolas Cage and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think of someone just has it, you know, did I have to fit a lot of comedy in it, and it just feels so forced and doesn't reflect the character in my eyes of how Ezra Miller is trying to portray him. You know, as I say, I would have gone with a little bit. I get the alternate timeline, but if there's an alternate timeline, then it doesn't necessarily have to link it in with the DCU as much. I would have gone, I think, like in this, don't have to necessarily have Batman's dad or something like that, but you go to the future. You know, Barry supposedly came back in the Justice League from the future anyway. You know, where was that scene? They could have tied that in and done it a different way, you know, and have some sort of future villain or some sort of future bad guys or something, and this is what they're trying to do, and realising that, you know, it just unfortunately sends them down a chaotic line. Not, you just slightly altered the human line, but done, you know, but brought a Batman in that you wanted to. But there we go. I mean, I could talk about that movie a lot. Next, obviously, because I'm on the X-Men drive, we have Logan. So I really did enjoy this the second time watching. Obviously, I did like Stephen Merchant's Caliban and Patrick Stewart. It was a very interesting take of them bringing X-23 in, and it was nice just to, I thought it was a nice end to his story, and that it's obviously, it's a shame that well, not a shame, but he's now coming back, and I do think, of having rewatched it, he is a great fit for the character. And stuff like that, and I thought this was a great little story. It very much felt like its own individual story, even though it's slightly linked, and this is where I think these elements aren't done as well enough as they should have done in previous movies. But by the by. So then we have Evelyn. So this is Pierce Brosnan. He is, I think it's Irish. Apologies if I get this wrong. But basically, he's a married man with 3 kids. That is his eldest daughter. His wife leaves him, and basically all his kids are then put into foster care, or what would be foster care at the time. He basically then battles to get custody of it because obviously he doesn't have any rights. The whole, for you to dictate where your children go, needs to have the approval of both parents, and obviously because his wife leaves him and leaves kids and just goes off, he is a bit of a drunk and he isn't the nicest person, I will give him that. But then he kind of turns his life around, and it's him fighting for this and the courts and so on. I think this is based, yeah, it's based off true events as well. It is quite a good movie. Next, then we have Gambit. So this is kind of a heist with Colin Firth and obviously Cameron Diaz and Alan Rickman in it, and Stanley Tucci. And I didn't mind it. It's a very much kind of switch your brain off and very silly movie in places and stuff like that. Cameron Diaz is kind of a Western, you know, there's a few things that crop up. I say, this is a love and charming movie. It's an all right movie. Just turn your brain off and enjoy 90 minutes of kind of this little heist movie. But that's what I thought. That, and the final one, Dark Phoenix. So if you've seen, this is obviously the final X-Men movie. I do want to go and get the New Mutants, but that is not on the list of like 30 movies that I still have to watch. So I will watch them first, and then I'll bring the New Mutants out. So if you've seen previous movies, I know I'm probably going to get slack for it, because watching this movie I've mentioned about the Phoenix should always be an entity from space, and obviously I forgot all about this movie. But obviously it is kind of an entity from space, or it's an energy source, I would say, from space. So I kind of was wrong in some of my analogies because I forgot all about this movie. So I will have to apologise here. You know, I'm sure the other movie hasn't come out, but the other video hasn't come out when I filmed this one, but when it will, you will realise obviously this is the case. I still think there was a lot of obviously licensing issues and stuff where they couldn't use people and find it and stuff like this. And I still think why we always have to go down the Dark Phoenix. Like, it's strange that Jean is like portrayed in the first trilogy as she has this kind of Phoenix power anyway, this identity. Then we had obviously Age of Apocalypse where she kind of has the Phoenix one, and then this kind of energy source just kind of overpowers her. I know there was a lot of talk that this was supposed to kind of be the reboot of it, and this is why, you know, there is only two of the original kind of X-Men, so Beast and Mystique. I mean, throughout all of this, I have enjoyed Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy as, you know, I think that this is one of the few rare times where these actors have come in and actually have done a good portrayal of these characters, even though it's kind of a different timeline as such. I weren't necessarily sold on Storm and Nightcrawler and that. You know, Quicksilver gets his bit, but then obviously he gets injured and then he gets taken out. And this is where I think one of the things from the earlier movies where you had a lot more of the, you know, 2 did very well with it, brought like Colossus and all these other bigger characters in, and they should have shined in 3, and then they didn't, and then they kind of, half of them took a back seat or disappeared, and, you know, Nightcrawler was then brought in at 2 and then disappeared in 3, and there's stuff like this, and it's such inconsistencies. And I think it did so well with First Class, it would have been really good to carry that on, but obviously they killed more or less most of those characters off from First Class. As I say, except for Beast and obviously Mystique, and obviously we all know Mystique obviously doesn't make it to the end of the movie. And I just feel like they kind of missed a beat on that. You know, it had a good idea. You know, I understand that different direction, that did different things, but this, because a few people didn't want to return, they did return, and it was received so poorly. Who knows? Let's see what the new X-Men holds. But that has been, look what I've been watching. Have you seen any of these? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're having a nice week, and I shall see you in the next one.